Please let something go right so that Alina doesn't have a manic depressive episode.
The world building in Daughter of Water is nothing short of exceptional.
Not much grabbed my attention and kept a stronghold, and I sadly found myself incredibly bored.
Like 1 star is like garbage. Like the book should never have been written, and 5 being I would read it and I would reread it again and I would buy merch.
1 out of 5 stars means if it was a restaurant, call the health department. It's like saw things.
Daughter of Water by A.S. Dampt is such a good story. I rated it 5 stars because I couldn't put it down for a second. It's such an amazing story.
Maybe Gollum wrote this. Hear me out.
This is my character. She's a girl boss and she will kill 20 men.
Grew up growing pumpkins 6 months ago, and now she's going to be on the front line whooping some booty. This is why everybody should go buy this book and read it. Because you've got to pick a side.
Let's read these reviews so that we can then go.
You tired or something?
I'm tired since I woke up. I was tired in my sleep. Apparently, you tell me this is very taboo what we're going to do.
Okay, so what happened was I was looking up to see if other authors read their reviews and talked about them online just to get some like ideas. The only thing that I saw is there was apparently some very famous indie author that did something like that a few years ago, and then a bunch of other indie authors kind of jumped on the train and like did videos talking about, yeah, I read my reviews, but I would never say anything about whatever. And then in the comments, it was like, I think this is related to this scandal because this other dude who did something apparently. But I don't know what that was because a recent scandal came out about him cheating or something. So that was the only thing I could find after that. But basically, it's like every video is like, we would never talk about our things because we don't want our fans to like attack the person who made the review.
Well, here's the cool thing. We don't have any fans yet, so
Dad,
nobody's getting doxxed. And also, we're not going to name names, so
Yeah.
I feel like that resolves the problem. But
I agree.
we are going to talk about our reviews because they're funny. And also, who doesn't like to vent a little bit? So,
Plus, the other thing I feel like is like, it seems wrong for people to be able to trash everything that you've worked on for years, and you just have to like smile.
well, here's the
Stand
thing.
there and
I already know what some of the reviews say, and it's not even so much a rebuttal of people that have trashed it. It's just they don't even make sense themselves, so they're like
yeah,
hilarious on their own. So
yeah, that's true.
anyway, okay,
Oh,
I get to start with the 2-star review though because like
okay, but can I get the story of
then
this?
I get to give the story from my
Oh.
perspective because of like I lived your trauma secondhand. So okay.
Everyone's Trump.
So anyway, the backstory of this is that this is the first review ever on NetGalley.
Yeah, so we paid $700.
We paid $700 for that?
We
That is
paid
not what you
$700.
told me we paid.
Well, yeah, I told you. So it was. Listen, I did tell you that.
No, you didn't.
It was $550.
You're like, it was $500 to $600. That's what you told me.
It was $550 to be able to put the book on, and then you paid another $150 to get it featured. So that more
That's
people
not what
could
you
see it.
told me.
I'm pretty sure. Bullshit. You were just
Anyway,
like big dollar.
as people will soon realize, I am the financier of this little expedition. Anyway, as I was saying,
grateful.
yes. So we paid the money to put this on NetGalley because you were like, yeah, this is how we get reviews and whatever. Anyway, well, review number 1 comes in and it's a 2-star, which is not ideal, as you might be aware. But anyway, I'm going to read it.
Yeah.
But before I do, I'm going to say that that was a blow. That was a blow to Alina.
Getting a 2-star.
2-star.
Look, you didn't know for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 whole minutes. And then I knew for the whole rest of the day.
Because I read it and I wasn't.
Let's just say that I had to go to work that morning. And I'm literally praying in the car on the way to work Please let something go right so that Alina doesn't have a manic depressive episode.
That
So,
didn't work.
spoiler alert, we did get a 4-star review later that day. But anyway,
Yeah.
so this is our 2-star review. This is the first review we got. It says, the FMC, which I am interpreting as female main character.
Yeah.
A little bit of a expert when it comes to these types of abbreviations. If you know, you know. Anyway, the FMC Heidi discovers where she comes from and tries to navigate who she has learned she is and how to move forward presently. She ventures on a path to newfound relationships while uncovering truths she had no idea existed. She also discovers that there are groups divided: humans, imps, and Verdelise.
Okay.
So,
Can we jump?
yeah, well, hold. That's what I was going to say. Look, spoiler alert, Verdelise is the name of a city in the book. So it's not a group of people.
But
So,
it's similar to the group of people. So
well, it is
I'll
close.
give
It is
you
close. I'll give you that. But
benefit of the doubt. Okay.
to torch the new author with a 2-star review and then to not get the, I mean, you know, it's like, did you read it? I don't know.
Well, they at least looked at the map. They at least did that.
They at least opened the front cover. Good for them. And what that
Not
means in her
torture
current
people.
position, as well as where she originated from. You said that already. Learning about the other firstborn as well as the dark magic that ensues was interesting and made for the potential to be a great book. Unfortunately, it fell short for me. I didn't feel like the character development was done well outside of the FMC. I'm sure there's a lot to discover as this is supposed to be a series. You are correct. So
Yes.
hang tight for books 2, 3, 4, and you will learn
Already
more
planned.
about these different characters. However, I felt no real connection to any of these characters. It sounds like a personal problem. Look,
This is why you can't
we're
cry
venting.
about it.
We're venting. It's fine. Not much grabbed my attention and kept a stronghold, and I sadly found myself incredibly bored. I didn't find any real excitement or climax to any part of the story. It was just so bland and lacked any real entertainment. There was no romance. Okay. I edited this book, okay? And I can tell you that there is far more romance
than you.
that I would personally elect to put in a book or to read, for that matter. Okay?
I know.
I can personally attest to that. To say that, okay, look, maybe you were looking for like a Max Spice kind of book. Yeah, that. Look,
That's
and
not
if
fair.
that's what you're looking for, wrong book. But to come out and say there was no romance, that is one heck of a hot take. Okay.
Yeah, no, there is.
There's definitely romance. It says, or true heroism at all. Okay. I guess that one's subjective.
That one is subjective.
But
I'm not even.
but-
I might. Oh, okay, hold on.
hold on. Look,
Okay, go ahead.
because
But then let me go.
fine. But let me just say, to say there's no true heroism at all. Again, like, way to take the absolute extreme. You may not find what, I mean, first, I'd be a little bit shocked if you really didn't find any of the actions of any of the
No,
characters
yeah.
heroic.
Yeah.
That I find that almost impossible to believe. But maybe it wasn't your brand of thing, but to say there was
hero,
no
yeah.
true, anyway.
Well, that's my thing. Is I'm like, the thing for me is it's like, as soon as you take the extreme of like okay, they talk about this when they talk about relationships, right? When you get in an argument with your spouse, you're like, you never do this. And God, I did that 2 days ago. It's like, you know, usually, and like, it's like you can never take the full side of like, this never happens, and there was nothing of this or
That's
whatever.
a fact.
And so, yeah, when you say there's no heroism, no heroism,
You'll get there.
to say that nothing heroic happened in the book, I'm like, okay, I can think like off the top of my head, at least 2 things. Bare men, like just right there. But
Yeah.
like maybe you don't think of it that way. That's fine. That's fine. But
Anyways,
Yeah,
let me just
fair
say
enough.
there is both romance and heroism in the book. And
but
well,
not from
why don't you
perspective.
guys read it and tell us for yourselves? Okay, also, I didn't read this last line before. I don't think I actually read this full review.
Probably.
I think
no,
you were just
I
too
was crying
depressed.
about
Yeah,
it.
okay, anyway. But this one's a banger. This is the last bit. I just felt that given the amount of pages written in this book through painstaking labor after the kids went to bed, might I add, it could have been used to create more excitement and evoke more emotions than it did. You are free to give it a try, dear reviewer, because apparently you know how to do it.
Oh, man.
So that was our first. I don't know that we need to dwell on it more. We probably said
I
I'll
think
say
it was just the shock of
but that was our
first
first.
review.
Yeah, I was like, you're all excited to get your first. It's a 2-star,
It's painful.
which is like,
I was crying on kitchen floors.
which is like not the 1-star that's like this is pure garbage, but also it's like that's just bad. Your book is bad, and you should feel bad. It's kind of the vibe that you got. Luckily, though,
Yeah.
we didn't even have to wait a full 24 hours to get our second review, which was 4 stars.
Yeah, I'll read that one.
I like this one. Maybe I should have gone second because I like the second
This
review.
one? No, I think the second review it's not the one that you've read.
Yeah, it's the one where they say it's a 3.75.
Oh, is it?
I'm pretty sure.
Let's look at it. I love the setting of this novel. The world building was incorporated well and throughout the book. It was also written in a way that the reader and the FMC, female main character, learn about the world at the same time, which I enjoyed following along with. I would have liked to have gotten to know the characters more personally. I feel like I knew about them, but I didn't know them as deeply. I was not very attached to them. Gaten was fairly present in the beginning of the novel, and after halfway, he was hardly even relevant. The opposite happened with Margot. I didn't really care or know about her in the beginning, but I liked her part in the plot near the end of the book. The plot was very interesting. The pacing was a little on the slower side at first, but it is understandable as it is going to be a series. I like the dynamics of Sylvie learning about the firstborns and how to use her magic, while the firstborns were also trying to fight against the rising enemy in Verdelise. She used it right there.
Kudos.
I think the plot needed higher stakes. Even when the conflict occurred, it wasn't very suspenseful. Because of that, the ending was not as climactic as it should have been. Although I will still continue to the next book when it is released. However, the actual content of the plot was good, and I was enjoying the story a lot. There wasn't much in the novel that was emotionally impactful for me, but it was a fun book to read. I did enjoy it. I'm very expectant of the next book in the series. I'd give this book 3.75 stars. I would recommend it, but it's not on my favorites list. Which, that's a fantastic review.
Yeah, that's a good review.
I like that. I feel like, okay,
You were a little bit bummed about it at first, but
I was a little bummed, but I've been thinking about it, thinking about how I would rate stars, which we were talking about a little bit earlier. Where 1 star is garbage. The book should never have been written. There's errors in it everywhere, kind of thing. That's a 1-star book to me. It just should never have made it into print. 2 stars is this really did not sit right with me. There are some real problems with the plot, that kind of thing. 3 stars is this is pretty good, just not necessarily my style. The craft is good or whatever, but I don't.
yeah,
I'm not
3 is somewhere in between. This is eh. It's not 2 is this is bad. 1 is horrible, like you said.
Yeah, but
2
3 is it's average.
Yeah,
It's fine.
3 is average, but also I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to somebody.
Yeah, but
I read
4 is
it.
I would recommend it to
Yeah,
somebody.
4 is
but
this
I'm not
is good and I like it.
Okay, this is how I distinct.
And then
4
5
and
is
5.
wow, I would read that again.
Yes, that. So it's the difference between 4 being I would read it and I would go see the film if it came out on film, and 5 being I would read it and I would reread it again and I would buy merch. You
Yeah.
go all the way for a 5.
Yeah, maybe.
And so when I get a 4 and it's yeah, that's pretty good, I'd read the next book. I'm okay. We're
It was good. It was nice to get a 4 same
Yeah.
day. Prayers answered right there on that one.
Yes, that's true. Okay, here, let me pull up the next one. I don't think this is the one you're thinking it is. I've read them all 400
You got a
times. I
flurry of
can't help-
4-star reviews. that,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was just at work feeling good for you because you needed it. So
Bawling. It didn't fall.
So this is the next one. This was also the next day, I think.
I think these were all
I don't
kind of
remember. This
either
was all
same
pretty
day
much
or
back to back.
next
Well, this
day.
is February 25, so it was 3 days ago anyway.
Yeah.
As a previous reviewer had said, I loved the setting for it. The other firstborn kind of grew attached to me. Smiley face.
Or she grew attached.
I assume.
They love
Apart
her
from-
too, though.
Yeah.
I mean, sure.
Apart from that, though, it is way too focused on Heidi, the main character. So that I don't. Yes, and I wish to see more development in character relationships. Spoiler alert: it's coming.
It really is.
Also, the writing is lacking in the show aspect at times, and the copy I received has some minor errors in relation to punctuation. We did our best, you know.
Here, yeah,
Did not detract from the story at all, though. So
that's good.
thank you, dear reviewer.
I've gotten a few other reviews, which we'll see, that talk about, punctuation here or there or whatever. And I'm like when I'm reading an indie author, especially, I'm willing to take those little, like they don't have a team behind them. And if they don't have the money to pay
We
somebody,
definitely don't have a team.
yeah,
You're looking at the team.
we're the team.
We're the team. We did our best. Okay, we did go through it many, many times. This is a nice review. I didn't.
It is a nice review. Yeah, but I am glad to get those reviews where it's like, hey, by the way, there's like a little something like, okay, so the last review, they had a note on it, which you can get on NetGalley. And it was just like, you're missing the beginning quotations somewhere in chapter 7 or something.
That is very specific.
Like one like that. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll go find that and fix it before we print any books or any more books. So I appreciate that because we did do everything.
It's not
alone.
perfect, that's for sure.
But I feel like for where it's at, the fact that we did it all alone, I'm glad that we're only like it's only a couple things here and there,
So did you get another 4 and then a 5, or did you get your 5 next?
I got another 4, and this is the really good. I loved this review, and this was like, you are my person. You're my reader.
You like my book. I don't know you, but you like my book.
Well, okay. So let me explain a little bit before I read it, because the other ones, they're focused on the characters, and maybe this is like...
This was just a very literary review.
This was a very literary review.
So read it. I mean,
okay, yeah. Okay. Daughter of Water by A.S. Dampt is a mesmerizing fantasy novel that excels in its intricate world building and immersive storytelling, set in a richly imagined world where elemental magic and ancient traditions shape the lives of its inhabitants. The novel follows the journey of a young protagonist who discovers her extraordinary connection to the element of water. Dampt crafts a vivid and expansive universe that feels both magical and grounded, drawing readers into a realm where every detail is meticulously thought out. The world building in Daughter of Water is nothing short of exceptional. Dampt creates a tapestry of cultures, histories, and landscapes that feel alive and dynamic. From the shimmering water-filled cities to the rugged elemental temples, each setting is described with such clarity and depth that it's easy to lose yourself in the story. The magic system, rooted in the 4 elements, is both innovative and well integrated into the world, adding a layer of authenticity to the narrative. The author's attention to detail extends to the societal structures, myths, and rituals, making the world feel cohesive and fully realized. The protagonist's journey is compelling as she navigates the challenges of her newfound powers and the responsibilities they entail. Her growth is intertwined with the world around her, and Dampt does an excellent job of showing how the environment and culture shape her character. The supporting cast is equally well developed, with each character contributing to the richness of the story and the world they inhabit. While the novel's pacing is deliberate, allowing readers to fully absorb the intricacies of the world, it never feels sluggish. The plot is driven by a mix of personal discovery, political intrigue, and elemental conflict, keeping the stakes high and the tension palpable. Themes of identity, belonging, and the balance between humanity and nature are explored with nuance, adding depth to the narrative. In summary, Daughter of Water is a stunning debut that showcases A.S. Dampt's talent for world building and storytelling. Fans of epic fantasy and elemental magic will find much to love in this beautifully crafted tale. It's a book that invites you to dive in and explore its depths, leaving you eager for more from this promising new voice in the genre.
So, by the way, I never asked, are we sure that that's not somebody we know?
I looked up the name because they didn't leave. Some people you can like get their TikTok or their Instagram or whatever. And this person's just an educator, so I can't find them.
Anyway, it's very nice. It's like, wow, thank you very much.
The thing that I loved about, maybe this is just a male to female comparison in how people read books, and I know that's not how it is all the time, but the female readers that we've had, it's I didn't know the people well enough. And part of that is deliberate because of the personality of the main character. So I can't tell if that's because we did our job or I don't know.
Well-
But it's like cool, especially in this one, to read, okay, the expansive universe, but then talking about the culture and the histories and that kind of stuff that I really delved deep into so that it felt like it was a really real world and there were like cultural things that they were doing and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that was funny about that review is just like back to back with some of the other reviews. It can't be both of these. So,
I mean, it can, but you're really reading 4 different things, I think.
so look, here's the thing. We now have 2-star to 4-star, and the gap will get wider. Spoiler alert. But this is why everybody should go buy this book and read it, because you've got to pick a side.
Yeah.
Everybody has to pick a side on this book, because clearly it's either
There's no middle
utter
ground.
garbage or it's pretty good. So, okay, I get the next one.
Okay, let me open it really quick. Okay.
What is
this
the next one, by the way?
It's another 4-star.
It's a 4-star. Okay.
So, yeah.
Because there's a 3-star you didn't tell me about, and I didn't even know about until today.
Yeah. Well, that one came today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Here you
All right,
go.
let's
Okay,
see this.
4-star. There you go. So I'm feeling pretty good about this moment.
Yeah, so this is like where we're like, all right. And then I'm pretty sure you got a 5-star,
5
and then a
stars
1
next.
star, and then a
Yes.
3-star. Anyway,
We'll get
getting
there.
ahead of myself. Daughter of Water by A.S. Dampt is a captivating and richly woven tale that combines elements of fantasy, mystery, and profound emotional depth. Which, you know, the irony, because literally the first couple of reviews were like, I just couldn't emotionally connect. It was
Yeah.
like, anyway,
Yeah.
you know, different folks, different strokes, or whatever they say.
Okay. Yeah. I have
The
this thought,
story
but-
centers around a strong, complex heroine navigating a world of magic, secrets, and personal discovery. Dampt's writing is immersive, creating an atmosphere that draws readers into a lush, vivid world. The narrative is both thrilling and introspective, exploring themes of identity, power, and resilience. With its intriguing plot and well-developed characters, Daughter of Water is an enchanting read for fans of epic fantasy and character-driven stories. A beautifully crafted novel that will stay with readers long after the last page. Another very nice review.
See, I was smiling. I was happy.
Yeah,
at
so
this
you were
point.
feeling pretty good.
Because I
And
got
then
the
it- and then it went
2-star,
up.
Yeah, and then it went up again.
then-
I don't even have to open this one because it's
Boom,
short,
boom,
but this is our
boom.
5-star. And it says, Daughter of Water by A.S. Dampt is such a good story. I rated it 5 stars because I couldn't put it down for a second. Such an amazing story. It's like simple, not like a insane, in-depth, whatever. But it just like, it kind of makes me realize some people are like, oh yeah, I couldn't put it down 5 stars. And some people are like, I mean, I read it and I wanted to keep reading it, but it just fell short. I was
2
like,
stars.
what?
I couldn't put it down. 5. I am looking forward to the next book. 2
2
star.
star.
Okay, so does that mean I get to read the 1 star?
Yes.
Yes.
So here, let me open it for you. There you
This,
go.
okay,
This is the weirdest one.
this review makes no sense whatsoever. This is a 1-star review. So, mind you, a 1 out of 5 stars means like, if it was a restaurant, it's like, call the health department. Because I saw things. Shut this place down, right? So like, it's the book equivalent of like, stay away for the health and wellness of everyone involved.
Okay,
Like,
when people rate it like this, it feels like the dude in Ratatouille.
oh, the critic.
The critic, yeah.
Anton.
Yeah.
See, I was thinking more of the sous chef because he's hilarious. Anyway,
It is hilarious. That's true.
yeah, so just keep that in mind, right? 1 star is like, you should face criminal liability for what you've done here.
Says the lawyer.
Anyway. The book was decent for what it is. I found it strange at first, but got more into it towards the end when the writing style improved. There were many things that threw me off. First, in the beginning of the before, Heidi was in her new home. I don't.
In the beginning,
Huh?
comma, before Heidi was in her new home.
No, there's no
I
comma.
know. I'm trying to correct it for
First
her.
in the
Look, I'm
beginning of the
editing
before.
it.
No, first in the beginning of the before. I don't know what the beginning of the before is, or when, or how. or who, what, or any of it.
I'm helping her.
Anyway, her two different names were used interchangeably and did not flow. So spoiler alert, there's a name thing with the main character, and she's figuring it out as the book goes along. So that's intentional.
Yes.
Also, like, basic reading comprehension skills will get you through that.
See, but I can understand why you would read that part and be like, oh, this is frustrating, because when I was writing it, it was like, how am I going to do this to like show that she's struggling with
all
the
I'm
name
saying is that
change?
nobody else had an issue with it.
That's true. She's the only person.
So
far.
And again, we're venting. Maybe we're being a little rude, but
it's okay. It's okay.
Anyway, so that threw me out.
Get it.
First, in the beginning of the before. So I think she's talking about the before. She's using the before as like a proper name for like the part of the book before, like where she's still living.
Before the travel.
Yeah, before the travel. Yeah. So in the beginning of the before, Heidi was. I can't even keep track of what's going on. First, in the beginning of the before, Heidi was in her new home, or two different names. Oh, wait. Can't even keep track of this. One sentence, it will use Heidi. Then in the next sentence, it will use her other name, Sylvie. Yes. That
I'm pretty sure. Now
purpose.
I need to go back and check it, but I am pretty sure it was always the narrator would use her previous name because that's what she's thinking of herself as. And everybody else calls her by her new name because that's all they know her as.
Yeah.
And then she decides, I have to be this new person, and it changes. And I thought it was pretty like,
Look, all I'm saying
was
is
showing, not telling.
Nobody else has had an issue with it. So, okay, the journey to her new home was also very confusing for me. Really quite minor part.
Okay, I have an explanation for this though. Because if you get the paperback, it's really easy. Because the headings have the date of everything.
Was she talking about... Hold on, let me finish this because maybe that'll clarify. The journey of your new home was also very confusing for me. I know that it said it was going to take a moon, but with the writing of the journey, I got the impression that it was only max of 4 days. Then Heidi said it was 36 or 37 days. Then the next paragraph said almost 2.
Okay.
So I can understand this because obviously...
Our calendar's weird.
Well, a couple things. So
let's go ahead.
I can understand this because when we wrote this, we needed we couldn't spend like 36. We couldn't spend like
days.
We couldn't mention every single day of her journey. Like that was just not possible for the pacing of it.
Yeah.
But that said, you took great pains to include a calendar in the beginning of the book.
But the calendar is not in the ebook. I didn't have a way to so I understand this.
So buy the paper
confusion.
book.
Yeah, the paper.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Okay.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So the paperback.
Also, I didn't find it that confusing, but I wrote. We wrote it. So.
I also think it shouldn't be that confusing because I went painstakingly through to make sure that every day was accounted for, so that when I put it up in the heading, it would make sense. Okay, she's gone this far, and I have the map, and I literally mapped all of the days I was freaking maps. Take the time I was supposed to. So I know it makes sense, but maybe the paperback is...
I almost went insane making this make sense, so fair enough. There's also the problem of some of the names. The name Meredith and Donovan each showed up once in the story. Well, that is definitely a typo.
100%.
We went through a couple iteration of names, so touche, reviewer.
Yes,
you got us on that one.
Yeah, fair.
No idea where they came from, but from the writing, I knew it was the other characters. Okay, so you know what? Actually, it's my places. It's like when I call my son the wrong name because I'm thinking of my other son. And
no, you're thinking of the right son. You just don't know what name.
Right. Or I'm like calling them my little brother's name because I'm like
Thomas. No,
male sibling relative person of mine that's smaller than me. Like right?
Fair.
Okay.
That's basically what it was.
Maybe that just tells you all how well I'm doing mentally. But anyway. But from the writing, I knew it was the other characters. Throughout the middle of the book, the names Loic and Gayton didn't have the punctuations above the names that showed up in the rest of the book. Look, we tried, man. I understand they were French names, so they should definitely have them. You are correct. You know what?
You are correct, sir. What's that from?
Gosh dang it. I would get this.
I don't even know what I'm.
It's a villain. And he's going,
You are correct, sir. Hades.
good one. I can't. I'm ashamed. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where I need to remind everyone that this is a 1 out of 5 star review. 1 star.
Garbage.
Utter trash. The battle at the palace was very entertaining, but it needed the protagonist to be more involved in it. Literally, we took great pains to explain that she was not a warrior. That's not her thing.
Look, and I am not
That's
going to
not
be
her
that person
shtick.
who's like, this is a female main character. She's a girl boss and she will kill 20 men.
She grew up growing pumpkins 6 months ago, and now she's going to be on the front line whooping some booty. Okay?
I'm not going to be that.
That's not in this book. If that's what you're into, look, she's school in other ways.
Yes.
Anyway, but it needed the protagonist to be more involved in it. From the writing, she was just there and not really. Okay, well, that's not true either.
Yeah.
And not really involved until she was hiding behind a wall. Please read. Please, just, if you're listening to this, please go read the book for yourself.
It's so funny because, like, there are times when I'm reading the review and I'm like, maybe I need to look back at that because maybe I ruined it. But then I'm like, we had 47 and a half conversations about this particular setting and what we're going to do with it.
But in the flashback, it said that she killed an imp.
Literally doesn't happen.
Completely different part of the book, but whatever.
Way before.
It's like, not... Anyway, I'm close. The part about rescuing Gaydon was a great part, and I love how Sylvie helped to get him out. Again, 1 star. I loved it, and it was great. 1 star. All in all,
fluke. They didn't mean it.
this is the other part I like, actually. All in all, it did hook me by the end, even with the problems in it. 1 star. Sir,
ma'am,
what
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's a ma'am. I don't care.
It's like, don't.
Human.
This is why men say we'll never understand women. It was pretty good. 1 star. By the end, I was into it. 1 star. Help me comprehend this, please.
This one didn't make me cry. I was so confused.
Well, also, this one I got remotely from you. You're like, go to 1 star review. I'm sitting at work. And then you like send me this screenshot. Okay, first of all, it's small on your iPad. So I'm like looking at the text. I was like in my text. I can't even read anything. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but I'm like scanning through the thing and I saw like some of the stuff and it was like about more or less like, oh, this was good. This wasn't good. And I'm just like, how is this a 1 star review? How is this even possible?
I would have been taking this as a 2-star review, but like.
Okay. If we're going to be honest, this is a 3-star review.
That's what I was thinking. But I'm like, yeah. But it's right there at the moment.
This is to like, it was entertaining, but there were some faults. That's 3 stars.
Yeah.
2 stars is like, I didn't like it and there were problems. 3 stars is like, I liked it, but it wasn't that great. So
that's kind of where this is at.
Yeah, you know, it shows up as a 1 star and there's nothing we can do about that. But like,
well,
maybe Gollum wrote this. Hear me out. Gollum put the 1 star and then he turned into Smeagol when he like typed up.
No.
Exactly. It's like, what? It was pretty good.
That's what it is.
Anyway.
That's what it reads like too, because like I really got hooked on this. There were a lot of issues with the nuts. I really liked it.
Well, it mostly gets better towards the end.
Sure.
It's like, I wonder if they were just like 1 star, and then they were like actually remembering what it was like to read it, and they're like, actually, this is kind of okay. But it was too late. It's too late to change the review. It was like, I don't know. Anyway,
I made my decision.
So that review gave us.
So what was that thing that I said? Like, a year ago.
A year ago?
You
expect me to remember something you told me 1 year ago?
It's a line that you have repeated back to me because I said it and it was stupid. You made your priority so sleep.
Yeah, that's what it was. You chose your priorities. I'll sleep with them.
So that's what she was doing,
I guess so.
I don't know why that just popped in my head.
I forgot about that.
Okay. 3 stars. This is the last one we've gotten.
Wait, just read the
1
3
star.
star because I haven't actually read this one. So
Yeah, fair. Okay, I'll read this one to you. Thank you to NetGalley for this arc. All thoughts are my own. Do you know what arc is? Advanced reader call. It's not really that because our book's out already, but kind of that. I don't know. This was an interesting read. I think the world building was very well done. The magic system wasn't hard to understand, and yet it was still unique and well integrated. I feel like there were points that there was a lot of info dumping, which made the story drag. There was a lot more telling, especially in regards to the political situation, than showing. I also feel like the only character that was developed and given an arc was Heidi/Sylvie. The rest of the firstborn felt very one-dimensional. I feel like Gaten all but disappeared by halfway through. I also feel like there weren't very high stakes or excitement throughout, and the climax felt strangely paced, speeding up the end of the story in comparison to the rest. I will probably be reading the sequel, but I wanted to see more of Sylvie and Loic's relationship beyond a few moments here and there. I did like Sylvie and Margot's growing friendship. I am excited to see how the quests work out. I like how the plot was formatted, and it was a fun read. I do also think and hope that we see more age-appropriate content. All 4 of the firstborn were 20, but they were referred to They were referred to his children. As children, maybe? They were referred to as children so often, they could have been 16 and nothing in the story would have changed.
Well, hold on. That last bit.
Yeah.
They're referred to as children in a derogatory tone by political people
politicians.
that don't like them.
Yeah.
They're not actually children. Although they are young.
But the point is that the politicians refer to them that way because they are technically young rulers because they all aged to 200.
Okay. But for the rest, fair enough.
For the rest of it, yeah, fair enough.
Although...
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's like, I want to see more romance. I'm like, it's like a subplot. It's not like... I don't know.
I think...
Hey, everybody wants different stuff, but...
Everybody wants to... I get that. But...
It's primarily as a fantasy adventure with romance. It's not a true romantasy.
No. Except I don't know, because there's romantic fantasy, and there's romantasy, and there's fantasy with romance.
Well, whatever.
I don't know what they are.
It's a fantasy adventure.
Nobody knows what they are.
Wherein there is some romance.
There are romantic relationships in this fantasy adventure. But I think the thing that... Okay, hold on. I do also think and hope that we see more age-appropriate content. What does that mean?
I have no clue.
Because I'm like, I'm not putting intimacy in it. I ain't doing it.
This will never be a smut series. It's not gonna happen.
Never. They're not gonna smoke
and there's
or
nothing,
do drugs and
there's
no
nothing
alcohol.
that a kid can't read. There is some violence that maybe would be better for like older kids or teenagers, but it's like nothing insane.
I mean, I feel like when I was writing this, it was something I wanted you to be able to share with your family members and not be embarrassed about it.
Yes, I'm not sure what the age appropriate content request is. Do they want like more adult stuff or like?
I don't know.
I just can't.
I don't know. I wanted to see more of Sylvie and Loic's relationship beyond a few moments here and there.
Yeah, that was the point I was making. It's like,
yeah,
that's not the main plot.
It's not. And but I can understand if you're going into it and you're like, oh, there's a slow burn romance, and then it's like not as much as you want it to be. But the thing is,
okay, from a guy's perspective, there's too much. So from a girl's perspective, there may be not enough. But like,
yeah, I don't know.
We try to balance.
I don't read enough modern books to have any idea of where people expect the romance to be at. I see things about popular romance books now, well, fantasy books now, that have a lot of romance, and they go way farther just seeing things on TikTok than I would ever want to go. And so I just wonder if there's this expectation.
So there is a wide range of opinions. Let's just say that in closing.
A wide range.
A very wide range of opinions.
And you don't know if this book is good or bad.
Exactly.
Sale right now.
You need to buy it. Because
Don't stop. Go to the description.
if you don't buy this and form your own opinion, you're going to be left out.
Yeah.
There's
true.
a bunch of cool kids out there.
8 of them.
There are cool kids. And it's kind of like, what Hogwarts house are you in?
Yeah.
But it's like, what star rating do you give this indie novel? You can let us know.
Just kidding. No.
No, you're not. But like, some things can be kept to yourself.
There.
But you can let us know in the comments if you have read the book.
With people.
If you have read it, you can let us know. And
you haven't read the book,
even if you want to roast our book in the comments,
do it.
You can, but we
I'll read it.
We might roast you. So you could be the subject. You could be the subject of an episode.
Yeah, maybe, depending on how many millions we.
Would you please stop?
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Hello friends, thank you for joining us for this episode. I am editing the video right now before we get it finished and posted on YouTube, and then I'm going to be signing all of these books back here for our wonderful readers who are taking a chance on our paperback. If you would like to see my breakdown of writing books and finishing novels, then you can head over to this video and watch the playlist of videos that I have organized for you to get into the mood to write and to get you a finished book. I would also be very grateful if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel, and if you could leave a comment below. That just helps the algorithm to get the episode and our book pushed out to more people, which helps us to write more fantasy, more historical fiction, and to build a bigger audience of people who love good stories. Thank you for being patient as we learn to navigate all of the electronics and technology that it takes to put this channel together, and we will see you guys in the next episode.